Hi Lex. Hi Iris. I'm looking at these squishmallows that you could get, and maybe some of our teachers have it. I'm here at my house and getting ready to make another book. I heard Lex had a little bit of trouble at kindergarten, so I was thinking about you guys, and I was thinking that maybe first grade can be a little difficult at the beginning. Let's go outside here for a minute. So what could be hard is gym class. Maybe someone gets hurt, or another problem could be friendship bracelets. Someone's going to make you stop making your friendship bracelets and you're not done yet. Maybe beads are getting lost, or somebody put something into your cubby. So a lot of things could really go wrong, but our books might be interesting today when we try to rest and try to go to sleep at night. I know the weekend is here tomorrow, first grade. 1 week is over, right, Lex? So, hi, Iris. Here's the 2 books I picked for Lex. I'm going to have something for Iris tomorrow. This one, Stop and Smell the Cookies. This one, it's not a hot air balloon. It's a parachute. It's called Fortunately, written and illustrated by Remy Charlotte. Let's do this Fortunately book first. I see clouds are here and a sunshine. Fortunately, this shows like the sunshine's happy and the cloud messes it up. That reminds me of school sometimes. Fortunately, one day, Ned got a letter that said, please come to a surprise party. But unfortunately, the party was in Florida, and this kid lived in New York. Fortunately, a friend loaned him an airplane. Unfortunately, the motor exploded. Oh, be careful. Look, his plane exploded. That's too much. Fortunately, there was a parachute in the airplane. Look, he safely floats down. Unfortunately, there was a hole in the parachute. Oh no. Fortunately, there was a haystack on the ground. Here he comes. Uh-oh, out of the sky. Luckily, he could land in a haystack, but unfortunately, there was a pitchfork in the haystack. He's going to get hurt. Oh no, that's so dangerous. Fortunately, he missed the pitchfork. Look how lucky he is. It didn't hurt him. Unfortunately, he missed the haystack. That's not good because he's coming from the sky. Fortunately, ready for this? He landed in the water. Good thing he took swimming lessons. Unfortunately, there were sharks in the water. Look at those sharp teeth. Fortunately, he could swim fast. There he goes. He's swimming away from them. They're trying to get him. Unfortunately, there were tigers on the land. This is all good and bad stuff. Fortunately, he could run, and he ran as fast as he could. Unfortunately, he ran into a deep, dark cave. Can you see his eyes right there? Fortunately, he could dig. So he started digging this big, long tunnel. He's digging it with that little kind of an axe. Unfortunately, he dug himself into a fancy ballroom. Pow! He shows up coming through the floor of this. I see a picture of a cake. Fortunately, there was a surprise party going on, and fortunately, the party was for him because fortunately, it was his birthday. It was his birthday. Sometimes good stuff happens, fortunately, and sometimes bad stuff happens, unfortunately. Right here, we're going to go with Stop and Smell the Cookies by Gibson Fraser, illustrated by Micah Player. I think there's going to be cookies in this story because here's a plate of them. All right, this boy is named Dash. Dash Gordon dragged his feet on the sidewalk all the way home from karate class. He was in a gloomy mood. It had not been a good morning. Dash loved karate. He loved it so much that sometimes he forgot Sensei's #1 rule. There is no talking in class. You're punching and then kicking and like Polly. He always wanted to be good, but sometimes Dash's feelings controlled him instead of the other way around. See the teachers yelling at him? Shh! Are they going to take his doggy Squishmallow away? It's going to happen. As Dash and his father walked up to the apartment, Dash froze at the top of the stairs. The sweetest aroma crept into the hallway. It shocked Dash's nostrils, break-danced on the back of his throat, and plunged down to his lungs. Look how he's smelling those smells. The ambrosia scent of oatmeal walnut chocolate chip cookies could only mean one thing. Gamma Noni. His gamma's named Noni. Dash's chest felt warm and fuzzy. His toes danced. His fingers tickled the air. His hands clenched into the position Dash called the Dragon Fist. Hi-ya! Look what he did to the cookies. He hi-ya'd the cookies. Dash leapt through the open door, and before he knew what happened, the dragon's fist came down on Noni's tray. The grandmom's called Noni. Cookies flew everywhere. Grandma Noni shook her head. Tears rolled down Dash's face. His day had gone from bad to worse. He didn't mean to get in that kind of trouble. That afternoon, Dash went to Kate Shanahan's birthday party. It was a gymnastic party, and all of Kate's guests raced through an obstacle course that ended with a zip line into a pit of foam balls. Dash was in heaven. He wanted to do this activity so much. When it came time to eat, Mrs. Shanahan made Dash sit right next to her so she could keep an eye on him. After all, she didn't want a repeat of what happened last year. See how the adults try to make sure Dash doesn't get in trouble? Suddenly, the lights went out, and Mrs. Shanahan put a big round cake right in front of Kate. The flickering light of 6 white candles, plus one to grow on, illuminated Kate's face, and all the kids whooped and cheered as they sang Happy Birthday. Dash was imagining his own birthday party. He pictured the cake that he would have. He imagined the candles on his cake. He thought about the wish that he would make a brand new bicycle. Suddenly, Dash's chest felt warm and fuzzy. His toes danced. His fingers tickled the air. Oh no! Dash blew out the candles on his cake. Whoosh! The room went silent. Dash looked around to discover that he had actually blown out all of Kate's birthday candles. Look at her face. Kate glared at Dash. Mrs. Shanahan shook her head. Tears rolled down Dash's face. The day was not getting any better. The next morning at school, at Squishmallow time, Dash was determined to be on his best behavior. Mrs. Hill gathered the class on the rug and guided them through counting number squares. Dash loved counting the red dots that filled the black squares, and he could even get to 100 if he counted them in groups of 10. But Sienna was having a harder time with it. As Sienna counted each red dot, Dash's chest started to feel warm and fuzzy. Sienna stared at the squares. Dash's toes danced, his fingers tickled the air. Before he knew what would happen, Dash jumped to his feet and the numbers poured out of his mouth. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All of Dash's friends glared at him. Mrs. Hill shook her head. Everyone's mad at him. Tears rolled down Sienna's face. It was her turn, and he stole her turn. Sorry, Sienna, Dash said, sniffling. He was crying too. This was the worst possible thing. The teacher's mad. That night, Dash's mother read him a story from his favorite book, The Adventures of Robin Hood. But Dash wasn't paying attention. All he could think of was Sienna and Kate and Grandma Nona. The girl, he hurt her feelings at school. Kate, he stole her birthday candles. Grandma Nona's cookies. He's upset. What's the matter, sweetie? His mom asked. Dash sighed. I karate chopped Gamma's cookies. I ruined Kate's birthday wish. I didn't let Sienna count her numbers. I know what's right and wrong to do, but sometimes I can't help myself. Why are my feelings so much bigger than doing good at school? It's been a rough couple days, his mom said, pulling Dash in for a hug, but I have an idea. Sit up and close your eyes. He did. His mom continued. First, let's smell Noni's cookies. Can you smell them? Dash pretended, and he pictured Grandma holding a plate of her delicious cookies as he took a deep breath in. First, breathe in. Next, let's blow out the birthday candles. Dash imagined the glowing candles on top of Kate's cake. He pushed all the air out of his lungs. Breathe in the cookies. Blow out the candles. Now let's count Sienna's numbers. Dash whispered, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, you breathed in the cookies, you blew out the candles, you counted by tens. How do you feel now? His mom asked. Dash opened his eyes. His chest felt calm and cool. His toes were still. His hands relaxed. Surprised, Dash said, I feel good. Good or great? Mom asked. I feel great, he announced with a smile. Dash went to sleep that night, excited to get to school with his plan. Breathe in the cookies, blow out the candles, count by tens. The next afternoon during choice time with Mrs. Hill, Dash and his friends were hard at work making perfect airplanes. Dash's plane was so sleek and beautiful, he knew he could send it soaring so it landed in the trash can all the way across the room. But Mrs. Chang had many rules, and one of them was no throwing paper airplanes during choice time. See, the rule is written on that white paper. This is important. Dash wanted to throw the plane. He needed to throw the plane, but he knew that he should not. His chest felt warm and fuzzy. His toes danced. His fingers tickled the air. What's he going to do, Lex? Is he going to be able to control it? Then Dash remembered his plan. He closed his eyes. He smelled the cookies. He blew out the candles. He counted by tens to 100. And all of a sudden, Dash's feelings did not seem so big. He smiled. Dash opened his eyes. He placed the airplane in his backpack and he returned to his seat. Amos came to pick him up after school and they walked together to the park. When they got to their favorite spot, Dash grabbed the paper airplane from his backpack and he climbed up onto the rock. Then, with the strength of a giant, Dash reached back and he launched his paper airplane to the moon. So that's a pretty good story about trying not to get in trouble. And this Fortunately book, that was kind of good. It was about good and bad things happening. I just hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that next week with Mrs. Hill is going to be much better. Everyone's getting to know each other. And I didn't go to my school yet, but I've been working with some teachers talking about how to help boys and girls when they have bad feelings in a hard day. All right, guys. I'll be sending books for Iris next. Love you. Bye-bye.